Inflammatory to me in any way, no, that would not be so.
In an attempt to clear up confusion over the status of organized student protest, university officials distribute 12,000 leaflets banning any and all demonstrations. Due to poor methods of distribution, however, many students never see the leaflet. Among those returning to Kent that day is Dean Kaler, a freshman with dreams of playing football for Kent State.
When we got there, my dad goes, "Oh my God, this is an occupation. This looks like Korea."
That evening, a group begins to congregate on the Commons. Fearing the crowd would make their way back to downtown Kent, the guard intercepts them on the corner of Main and Lincoln. There, a sit-in takes place. Students renew demands to speak with University President White about the guard's presence on campus. Students are told that if they move off the street and back onto the campus, the president would then come out and speak with them.
And of course they tricked us. We got out of the streets, moved onto front campus, and the National Guardsmen advanced on us with tear gas and bayonets.
That's when we had people that were just screaming, giving us the finger, flipping us the bird, screaming at us, yelling four-letter words. And I'm sitting there saying, what seems to be the problem here?
Again, there was a lot of chanting and rock throwing and what have you when that took place.
As the situation intensifies between students and guardsmen, so too does the military presence on campus.
The scariest thing for me was the presence of the helicopters overhead, with the clouds of tear gas on the ground and the searchlights playing on the crowd.
I was scared out of my wits.
The confrontation continues as guardsmen press students back to the dormitory area.
And that's where we had the real confrontation, yelling and screaming, things flying through the air, bricks, wood, chunks of wood, bags of excrement.
There was no violence that was greater than the need that I saw. Whenever someone was resisting heavily our attempts to get them into their dorms, they were forcibly pushed into their dorms.
But there were some guardsmen who actually picked up stones and were throwing them through the windows of the dormitory at students who were taunting them. So it was a very mixed up and confused and upsetting scene.
By 11:40 p.m., the crowd has been dispersed. 3 students and 1 guardsman are treated for injuries. At least 1 student is stabbed by a guardsman's bayonet. 51 arrests are made that night, mostly for curfew violations. The number of arrests since Friday night now total over 100.
That, I think, was a crucial turning point, because I think by Monday, it was clear that Vietnam had receded, that Cambodia was not the issue. It was the Guards' occupation of the Kent State campus.
When it comes to real estate agents, experience matters. The best agents know how to market your home for top dollar and navigate through a complex transaction. At Ideal Agent, we created our smart seller system with top-rated local agents to sell your home for as low as a 2% commission.
I was amazed in the fact that my house sold in one day. Ideal Agents saved me in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $25,000 in commissions. The process was as easy as it gets. It was turnkey. I'm a very busy guy, and they just took care of everything. They are the #1 way to sell your house.
I've used Ideal Agent 2 times. Ideal Agent guided me through the entire process, every step. You want to have the best agents, but you want to get the best deal. Using Ideal Agent with both properties, I've saved over $30,000. Our service is free, available nationwide, and there's 0 obligation. Call us today or visit idealagent.com.
Do you know how it feels to live with schizophrenia?
I am a good parent.
Jared?
I'm hearing the most awful things. People shouting at me.
It's okay. When you live with schizophrenia like us, you can feel like you're living in a different world. You should definitely talk to your doctor and ask about Fanapt.
Okay.
Fanapt is approved for the treatment of schizophrenia in adults. In clinical trials, Fanapt significantly improves symptoms of schizophrenia compared to placebo.
Cynthia, are you okay?
I feel like everyone's out to get me.
Fanapt may change your heart rhythm, which could elevate risk of sudden death. Your doctor will consider this when deciding among treatments, and may prescribe another medication first, or may instruct you to take a smaller dosage of Fanapt.
Remember, you're not alone. There is help.
Call 8557 Fanapt.
As day breaks on Kent State, the air on campus is clearly one of military occupation. Unlike the previous morning, tensions between students and guardsmen are not so easily dismissed.
I didn't really feel comfortable. That's why I didn't go to class that morning. I feel like being slapped up against the building and have a bayonet in my back and having myself searched and, all that sort of stuff.
A guardsman said to me, "What's that you're carrying there, boy?" And I said, "Just a couple of flags." And he said to me, "Well, today we're going to make you eat those flags." And I responded in kind of an arrogant way. I was a cocky young man. I said, "Well, just don't get too close or I'll ram them down your throat."
(11 a.m.) Students begin to assemble at the Victory Bell on the Commons, while the National Guard assembles at the burnt-out remains of the ROTC building. Thousands look on from the remote safety of surrounding buildings.
When I got out there about 10 minutes to 12, I could hear the slogans being chanted, pigs off campus, pigs off campus. 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't want your blanking war.
We dismounted our vehicles and started forming a line. Really didn't know what we were going to be doing other than maybe just standing fast so that no one would come and try to do anything more to the ROTC building. Next thing I remember was somebody in blue in a riot helmet with a bullhorn going out across the Commons in this Jeep.
I mean, people actually started laughing. There was no riot. There was peaceful protest taking place. There was a call for a student strike. We anticipated there'd be a lot of speeches.
Barry Levine meets up with Alison Krauss at the rally.
Other than chanting and yelling, that was it. That was the extent of the assembly. Some flag waving and whatnot.
He went out and made that broadcast 2 or 3 times, and each time the crowd got louder, and it was an exercise in futility because it wasn't being received.
We didn't think that anybody had the right to tell us that we couldn't stand there in a group and express how we felt about something.
They began to fire tear gas canisters in towards the crowd, but the wind was blowing at such a level that it blew the tear gas across the Commons and tear gassed other people who were just watching.
I realize now the guardsmen were taking it much more seriously than the students were, because it was a kind of a picnicky kind of carnival-like weird atmosphere of, no harm's about to occur, just this weird gesture is taking place, and it was a symbolic kind of a duel at that point.
leadership of the Guard, seeing that the tear gas was ineffective in moving the crowd or dispersing the crowd, then gave us the order to move out. And we moved out in a line formation.
The students, and wisely, moved out of the way, myself included.
And the guards kept coming, so we retreated with the students over the crest of the hill.
We went up the hill towards Taylor Hall, on down over the hill to the practice football field.
But that was a strategic mistake on the military side. What it amounted to was that we had marched ourselves into an area where we were trapped on three sides by a chain link fence.
So when they got there, they made a ludicrous announcement over the bullhorns. They said, "Students of Kent State, we have you surrounded." And it was clear from observation that we weren't the ones who were surrounded at all, but that they had a fence on two sides of them and a body of observing students for the most part of the rest of the way. And so kind of a laugh went up.
The crowd was extremely noisy, extremely agitated, and the rocks and bottles and whatnot were coming into our location quite heavily.
I was hit with a half a brick on my left forearm.
Have you ever tried throwing a brick very far, or even a half a brick? It's not an easy thing to do.
Students did throw some stones at National Guardsmen at that point. National Guardsmen picked them up, several of them picked them up and threw them back in the direction of the students.
It is at this point where a group of guardsmen lower to their knees and begin to point their weapons at a group of students in the adjacent parking lot.
I think that that was not a good move to make, because I think that that was a situation of crying fire when there wasn't necessarily any fire.
Nobody quite knew what to make of that. Speaking for myself and for Allison, we had no conception that there were bullets in those rifles.
But I still walked up to Alan at that point. I came up behind him and I said, you know, this is really scary. Let's get out of here.
I'm convinced they were aiming at me intentionally because I was waving that flag. I was perhaps the most vocal protester there that day, one of the most visible, obviously.
It was a show of force. The intent was, well, maybe this will deter them from coming forward. If you're in a position where it looks like you're going to fire, people are less apt to charge.
And then there was a moment that we've called over the years the huddle, where a group of guardsmen got into a group in a circle and had a little meeting.
I know everyone said that down there on the practice football field, that's where the so-called conspiracy took place, as to, that they were talking about which ones were being singled out to be fired upon.
And that is absolute, utter nonsense. What was going on in that meeting back there was a group of officers of that guard unit saying to themselves, how in the hell did we get here? We are in a very vulnerable position. What is it that we've got to do to get out of here?
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow. And to thank you for all your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For a limited time, you get my 6-piece towel sets. Regularly $109.99, now just $39.99. That's the lowest price ever.
I
used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
The My Pillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the My Pillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
My Pillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts on all My Pillow products. For example, you get my dog beds for as low as $19.99. Or for a limited time, you can get my 6-piece towel sets, regularly $109.99, now only $39.99. The lowest price ever with your promo code.
I am totally blind. And Non-24 can make me show up too early or too late, or make me feel like I'm not really there. Talk to your doctor and call 844-234-2424.
This is a hernia mesh legal alert. If you experienced problems following a hernia repair, which resulted in the need for the removal of the surgical mesh, you may have a case. Defective or recalled hernia mesh products have been used during many surgical procedures nationwide since 2010. Financial compensation may be available if your hernia mesh was removed due to severe abdominal pain, adhesion or erosion of the hernia mesh, infection, allergic reaction, or other complications. Call now for a free consultation and case evaluation. It is not necessary to know what type of hernia mesh was used during your surgery. The lawyers at Science & Kirk can help. There are no fees or expenses unless a recovery is obtained. Don't wait. Call now to find out if you have a case.
Call 1-800-348-1366 for a free case evaluation. Call 1-800-348-1366.
Selling a home is expensive and stressful, so we set out to create a better home selling experience with a network of the most successful real estate agents in America that'll sell your home for as little as a 2% commission.
The icing on the cake with the Ideal Agent was that we saved $12,000 in commission.
They were so stress-free, the whole process was amazing, and I would definitely recommend them.
We are not a discount brokerage. These are top local agents that'll get you the best results.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange, has certified half carat for $790, 1 carat $19.90, 2 carat $69.90, plus thousands of GIA diamonds at the guaranteed lowest price with thousands of designer mounts. Buy factory direct and save. The jewelry exchange direct.
Officers among the guard give the order to return to the staging grounds at the ROTC building.
There were cheers that were let up at that point. You know, there was a certain excitement and exhilaration because it appeared that, well, maybe it's over now. The guard tried and they failed and they're going back.
But then things started changing.
We kind of followed in their direction from very far away. Nobody got very close to them that whole day because we knew they had stabbed people the night before.
As we moved up closer to the crest of Blanket Hill, one of the guardsmen in front of me was hit in the back of the leg with a chunk of concrete.
Suddenly, and without any warning, several of them in the lead wheeled and leveled their rifles back towards my direction. I took it to be a threatening gesture, and so being 18 and foolish, I gestured back at them by raising the middle finger of my right hand.
And at this point, it's like a film playing in slow motion for me.
I heard the word fire. I believe that that was a situation of hold your fire, do not fire.
At that point, the guardsman on my right fired his weapon.
Within, again, milliseconds of that single report, the volley itself began.
I started screaming, "They're shooting their guns, they're shooting their guns."
It hit us all, I'm sure, at that moment. They're trying